According to this is the hottest ticket in town this summer. You know the one I'm talking about, Rachel Ziegler, and of course now starring as Eva Peron at the world famous London Palladium. But not everything's going to plan. As ever, let me explain. Good to see you, chums. Thank you so much for joining me today. And as ever, welcome one and all. Nice to have your company. It's a funny thing, isn't it, when you look at the world of show business, because now the worse that you do, the more that you get celebrated. You know, the sort of thing I'm talking about. You know, you see these people over on The View offering their opinions on a daily basis, and suddenly they get these opportunities that, you know, if you're in show business, you kind of think, how does it come to that? I've told you before that now over here, and I'm sure it's the same in your part of the world, actors and actresses are actually cast based on their social media following. You know, if you've got millions, they'll cast you because they believe that you will bring those people in. It doesn't work, does it? It's you and I that watch TV. We'll have a wave. Nice to see you, sorry. Welcome one and all as ever. Now what's interesting here is the fact that, well, Rachel, as you know, had one of the worst performing films ever in the history, if not the worst performing film for Disney, right? And her version of Snow White, which could have gone okay had she been on board, but from the very off did her best to make sure that people were put off by it, by skewering the storyline of, you know, she wasn't going to be somebody who was going to be rescued by a prince. This is ridiculous. She couldn't do a storyline like that. And then, of course, there are cryptic comments about political arenas and all sorts of things. You know, you come away thinking, I know you're young, but is nobody guiding you here? You know, that's the problem. Now, take a look at this. That's right. This is the latest front cover of British Vogue, the Condé Nast publication that is rapidly losing, well, people buying it, to be honest. Told you many times, I go in various hotels, you can pick this up for free if you've got the strength to carry it around all day, girls, right? It's a very heavy magazine. Have you picked it up? I mean, you're just, yeah, you know, and it's full of ads. And really, you know, if you look at the previous covers this year, we've had people like this, Bella Ramsey. Now, I would really think that Vogue should be all about glamour and, you know, appealing to the core audience. I understand that they've got to bring a new, younger audience on. But picking somebody like this, some people might say is controversial to say the least. Now, of course, she's, as I say, starring in the Andrew Lloyd Webber Tim Rice musical Evita at the London Palladium. And they're doing their very best to shore up sales, as one can imagine, although not a sellout despite what they're saying. A recent story came about that, well, apparently people were fainting in the street due to the heat because they wait to see her about 5 to 9 every night outside the Palladium while she sings Don't Cry For Me Argentina on the famous Palladium balcony. As I said, a great marketing coup, one which is now backfiring, because once you've heard that song, which is the main song from the show, despite there being other terrific songs, it's the main one, people are simply not turning in and booking. They feel, well, we've got a sample of that now. Why do we need to go and see the show? And I'm not being negative, I'm just telling you the facts, right? But of course, what's also interesting is that they're very much chewy-picky about where they can place Rachel for interviews. And if you want to interview her, then you have to go through a very stringent plot of what you're not going to bring up, i.e., yes, Snow White and her political views. As I pointed out, well, what happens if she brings them up? We don't want that featured. You get the picture. So the thing I would say is, when you look at something like British Vogue, who, as I say, struggling for sales, Vogue needs to completely reinvent, but perhaps picking somebody without all of that baggage and without all of those problems behind her may be the way forward. There must be other people, but clearly they want to believe that this is the person that can rescue the sales. A little bit like Avita at the London Palladium. We wish them both well, right? Neil Shaw in the very heart of London.